Well, John, it may not look it, but just over the hill there behind me, the bootleg fire is raging with a flame front that's about 20 miles wide and burning so ferociously that last night it created a cloud system above it, not dissimilar to what you see in a volcano, with plumes so thick and long they could be seen from outer space, and prompting officials here to issue a shelter-in-place warning because those cloud systems create lightning, which in turn can make the fire beneath it even more dangerous. And really it's a race against time here, as it is across the whole of the west coast of America, because this baking weather is showing no signs of letting up. There have already been more acres burned here this year than there were last year. And remember, last year was the worst on record. Well, yesterday we spent the day with firefighters at their base camp here, and many of them told us this fire is nothing like they've ever experienced before.
Good evening, everybody.
You know, night shift is where even the little things we're looking for right now is just the little things will be a big win.
Firefighters attend an evening briefing before heading out to battle the bootleg fire in Oregon.
Still ripping and still progressing. We'll get this thing eventually. Have a good night. Thank you.
But the map behind him shows how quickly bootleg has spread. The red portion, the active fire that's now consumed nearly 230,000 acres, making it America's largest, while the nearly 2,000 firefighters working round the clock have only managed to contain a tiny 7%. Bootleg, like all fires raging on America's west coast, a result of extreme drought, scorching temperatures and a mild winter. And this just the start of the fire season. By day, the fire's damage laid bare.
What we're seeing here is the after effects after when the fire passes through. All this stuff is so dry that it'll torch.
If anyone understands forest fires, it's Jacob Welsh. As a smoke chaser, he spent years parachuting into wildfires as a first responder. But even by his daredevil standards, this time feels different.
Gosh, this year, everything's different about this year. I mean, I have a lot of angst built up, honestly, about it. Our fire family, we're all, we're talking amongst ourselves, trying to be cautious about it and try not to spook anyone. But honestly, it's any spark out in the woods could cause a fire that is, once a fire gets lit now, it's going to be hard to stop.
In Oregon alone, there are now more than 20 active large fires burning. Bootleg itself now bigger than New York City, with hundreds evacuated. Firefighters work to hold the containment lines and limit the fire's growth. But with conditions so dry and 20-mile-an-hour winds, it's an uphill battle.
I hope and pray that we get rain with our thunderstorms. I mean, I think that is our only saving grace.
And it was day one of your job.
Yes, within the first hour.
Within the first hour?
Yes. When
you were looking out, and unbelievably, you saw a plume of smoke right there.
Yes.
So what happened? Tell me.
Well, I was getting training on a sophisticated device called a dragon plotter, and one of the other guys said, "Is that smoke?" I picked up the glasses, my field glasses, looked at the mountain, I go, "Yes." And the guy who was training me on the dragon plot actually read off the coordinates. I plugged them into the computer, and then we were able to get a precise location, and we called it into dispatch.
Mike's photos from that morning show a small plume, but it quickly grew with a speed so ferocious and unpredictable, it's startling even the firefighters here. Scientists point to climate change as the main culprit. These are scary times.
It is, but I don't know what you can do about it. So be prepared. Have a plan, because eventually there's going to be a fire.
And there are fires all across the west coast of America. In Butte Valley, California, the Dixie Fire that broke out on Tuesday is still 0% contained, as the local sheriff's office issued an evacuation order. Further north in Washington state, emergency workers are battling multiple blazes. The fast-growing red apple fire has led officials to issue a state of emergency and order people to leave as homes and fields have been destroyed.
We're in a little bit of race against time before weather changes and pushes us on the north end.
Back at the briefing, the firefighters prepare to leave too for a grueling 12-hour night shift. Even they can't approach the head of the fire. It's just too dangerous. No choice right now but to let it burn, attack from the sides and hope against hope that the weather changes.